Okay, center to edge, edge to C, left pivot. Got the opener I wanted. Pretty straight, slight cut to the left. So it's I see center to edge, edge to A with a left pivot. Okay, my visuals here are centered edge, edge to C with a right pivot, and I'm going to try and play this with a little bit of inside and get around that trouble. Okay. So center to edge, edge to C with a right pivot. So close to the pocket you can pretty well do what you like. I always do center to edge, edge to C with a left pivot. Another inch would have been great. I'm going to try and kill it here. Center to edge, edge to C, right pivot. Should be able to just roll this in and hold it. So my visuals are center to edge, edge to B, right pivot. Okay, should be able to float across. So here my visuals are center to edge, edge to B, left pivot. Or just a slight cut to the left, so it's center to edge, edge to A, left pivot. Okay, so it's always, like I said, it's always the same routine on the break for me. Center to edge, edge to C, left pivot. I mean, if you prefer to go the other way, you can. Doesn't matter. Just treat it like a straight in, pretty well on the one ball. Okay. Lots of traffic. That ball might go. So I'm gonna play this one with some inside and just spin around, but it's center edge. Actually, it's going to be a single line visual on this one, sorry, and it's going to be 1/8. Actually, C with a left pivot. I'm going to use inside. here it's a cut to the right, so my visuals are, well, doesn't matter which direction the cut is, it depends on the angle. But so center to edge, edge to C, right pivot.
I'm gonna play a little bit of inside to get straight on the 4. Okay, that is close.
We'll give it a go. So straight in on the 4, just draw back a fraction, try and get as straight on the 5 as I can, so tight. Center edge, edge C, left pivot. Okay, I think we're okay. So here it's center to edge, edge to C, right pivot. Hey, I don't know if I can get back a little flat on the 6. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna float down, play it in the side. So I'm gonna go center to edge, edge to A, left pivot. Tiny cut to the left, so it's not going to be an obvious pivot here. It's going to be a right pivot. So my visuals are center to edge, edge to A, with a right pivot. Get it a bit off the magic rack, but it worked out okay. So close here, and I'm bridging. Not too worried about visuals here, but if I, if I was, it'd be a 1/8 overlap because it's so tight to the cue ball. And so my visuals here, it's a tiny cut to the right. So it's center to edge, edge to C, left pivot. It's really a fun system once you clear some hurdles. I put in about 250, 300 hours, which seems kind of crazy, but having a table at home certainly helps. But it's so natural now that I can't imagine playing without it. And this is the most I've thought about it in a while, and it's because I'm obviously speaking to the visuals, because some folks asked me to online, it's easier to drive at home. So once again, it's centered edge, edge to C, left pivot. Whew. Glad I got ball in hand. Okay. So when they're, somebody had asked this question as well, when the balls are really close, and Stan talks about this as well, the A and C visuals become 1/8 overlap when it's within diamond, or typically a 12-inch span. So here I'm just going to go center to edge, edge to 1/8 overlap, and I'm going to rotate in from the left the way I normally would. Just so just the shot. I mean the visuals. They move from A to C to the 1/8 when it's really close, but the pivot and everything very similar to a straight in for me. Okay. I'm going to want to leave an angle to come around 2 rails to get back for this 6 ball for sure. So we'll just draw this back a little. So my visuals are centered edge, edge to A, left pivot. Okay, we're gonna stroke this one pretty good. So my visuals here are centered edge, edge to C, with a Pro 1 right pivot. So I get my visuals, down the center cue ball. Table's in a basement too, so it's a little slower than, and I gotta use a short cue here too, which is wonderful. A little slower than probably a table in your pool room, but so you have to let the stroke out a little bit more here, which I prefer to do actually. So it's center to edge, edge to A, with a left pivot, and I'm in tight quarters here, so anything can happen. Whoa. Moving in a month, so able to do these videos in more open space, which will be great. Yeah, I've never come this high normally. So we're pretty thin here, so it's a it's a 1/8 overlap with the left pivot. And I may have undercut that one. Stretched too much. We'll just continue to rack. Short cue got me again. We're over the hole, so you can pretty much pivot any way you like. Top there. Oh, we're really thin here. That was not well thought out. So it's 1/8 overlap with a right pivot. Obviously we could play it in the side, but the visuals are probably better demonstrated in the corner. It's pretty straight in the side. So the visuals for the corner are center to edge, edge to B with a right pivot. Overcut that a little. May have made an adjustment on my stroke because it didn't look right, but you learn to trust it. Okay, I'll do one more rack and then I'll post this before I start missing too badly. Okay, so centered edge, edge to C, left pivot. See if we can actually get shape on the one ball this time. Wow, dry break. Haven't had that in a while with the Magic Rack. Okay, so much for shape on the one ball. I'm just demonstrating the system here anyway. So I'm just going to just float down. So it's center to edge, edge to A, left pivot, touch outside siding. Like with any system, you need to make the necessary adjustments with siding, but the thing I found with Pro 1 is I play a lot more center ball, and certainly on shots where it's very risky. So here it's center to edge, edge to B, with a right pivot. And just put a touch of outside. Try and beat that 5 ball. And I may not have done it. Come on. We may have gotten there. So visuals on the 3 are centered edge, edge to B with a left pivot. Fortunate there for sure. I can choose to play this with a lot of inside, or I can gamble on coming around those balls. I think I'm going to play it with the inside. So my visuals are center to edge, edge to C, or sorry, edge to A, with a left pivot, and I'm gonna slide in with some siding here to hold that up. You need to, I mean, this is where feel comes in. You really need to understand if you've got to, how you've got to stroke it to get the siding to take. There's no aiming system in the world going to help you with that, but if you do find one, let me know. So here we've got centered edge, edge to C with a right pivot, and I'm not going to do anything too pretty here. I'm just going to stay there and take the shot. Okay, so I'm just gonna float this one in. The visuals are center to edge, edge to A, C. Sorry, I always think of them as A and B. I don't even think of C anymore, but it's C. Right pivot. Okay. Pretty much the same visuals. Center edge, edge to C, right pivot. You can see, I mean, I'm just stroking center cue ball. It's so powerful. It's, and you go throwing all kinds of siding and complicating things. I mean, we need siding. There's nobody denying that. So here we're pretty straight, so I'm going to go, it's a slight cut to the left. So because it's so straight, it's not an obvious pivot. It's going to be a right pivot. And my visuals are going to be center to edge, edge to A. So I lock in on those with a right pivot. I'm just going to draw it back and take the cut. I would like to draw it a little more than that, but that should be okay. Sometimes you just take what you're given, right? So my visuals here are center to edge, edge to B with a right pivot. And I undercut it, so let's set it up again. It's all these ones you're reaching for. But the visuals were right, I just didn't stroke it too good there. So center to edge, edge to B, right pivot, center cue ball. There we go. So I hope that helps, guys. I did the best I could talking my way through it, so look forward to your feedback.